Good morning, Lawrence.
Sir, good morning, Martin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope you are also.
Very well, thank you.
Excellent.
All good. Susan, good morning.
Lawrence, I can be your co-host if you want and help people in.
You can?
Good
Sure.
morning, Lawrence.
Is that Robin Field?
Yes, it is.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. We'll do that then. There we go. Thank you. Done. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Chris, your
Morning.
beard gets longer every day.
It's because I haven't had time to get to the barber. It's a little bit of laziness.
My goatee grows faster than, in fact, it grows. The rest doesn't do anything anymore.
I'll get there, I'm sure.
Okay, so it is Friday, the 15th of May. As usual, we've got our little mindset call. And today I would like to, first of all, welcome everybody and talk about a little mantra, which is the slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny, not in our destiny. We shall persevere until we succeed. It's Ogmandino, a little modified. So, um, where are my notes here? They've gone again. So today we were talking a little bit about the book here, which I have, which is the Atomic Habits. If you haven't had a chance to read it, I suggest you do. This is actually a workbook as well. You've got all sorts of notes in here that you can take and you can write and follow up with and so on. So the Atomic Habits is a very good book. James Clear. We discussed a little bit about that last week.
I'm gonna switch it.
So let me put you on mute. Carol, please. Thank you. Everybody on mute. Thank you. So, so where we're going with this is the following. First of all, I want to talk about where we go like the octopus. I don't know if you've ever seen how an octopus moves. It kind of it kind of opens its tentacles like this for a while. It's stagnant. It's doing nothing apparently. It's just opening its tentacles. And then suddenly it closes and it shoots forward. That's a bit like our business, in my opinion. In my opinion, our business does that exactly. We apparently not doing are doing we're not doing much. And then maybe a week or two, or even a month, or even 6 weeks or 2 months. Apparently, not much movement, and then suddenly, boom! We've got momentum. We've got something going, and I think this is where we've got to analyze and say, how does that happen? How do we? Why does that happen? So there are many things that we need to look at. So one of them is in the power of in the atomic habits. One of the things he's talking about the hidden power of environment, which is our entorno, our what's around us, and that could be a distraction or it could be an asset. So one of the things to try and do is to think about where you are. If your desk is the same as it was yesterday or the day before or last week, like mine is, obviously, we need to change that. We need to periodically spring clean, make difference, change our little environment around a little bit. Go in a different office, go in a different room, um, move around and keep yourself motivated, even with your environment. That's one thing. So I got a couple of questions. Um, where have I become comfortable instead of committed to growth? Because this is a big question. I confess that I became and have become comfortable, and I'm not as go-getter as I was when I needed to go and do something, when I needed to progress. And this is a bad way to be if you're just comfortable in this comfort zone and you're not really go out there and really committing to growth. We need to be in growth mode all the time because eventually it'll plane off, it'll level off. And that's what our business is all about, is to work really hard for a few years and then let the system work for us. So have I become comfortable instead of committed to growth? Actually, I was, and I have, and I'm getting off my gluteus maximus and driving around now and actually getting involved. So growth lives in controlled discomfort. What I mean by that is I can refer to that from Pilates. When before I go to the Pilates classes every day, geez, I got to go. And then I'm in the class and it becomes it's work, it's hard work. Pilates is not easy. And then when you come out of that, you have that feeling of euphoria, of satisfaction that you really did something. Our business is the same thing in many ways. We we have we've got to be uncomfortable to grow. It's not easy going. We've got to tap into the discomfort. Am I challenging myself enough to grow? Should I challenge myself? Absolutely. What is the excuse? So, being busy is not the same as moving forward. And one of the things that I want to talk about that as well, motion. We plan, we talk, we prepare. That's nice. But action is what's needed. We've got to do it. We've got to move. And it's the action that produces results. The motion is just going through it. We're going through the motions of planning and organizing, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is who we're going to talk to, and all that sort of stuff. That's nice. It's all planning. But do it. Like Nike says, just do it. So many people stay in motion because it feels safer than action. Action is getting into the zone of discomfort. I can tell you yesterday, I drove, I think about 3 hours to go to a destination. And I went to see one of my team members, and I went to support one of my team members. And the temperature it was horribly hot. I know it might sound, envious to someone who's in midwinter, but for us, it was very, very, very hot. That's part of the discomfort of action, of going forward. So we've got to look at the difference between, where we are, where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. So growth happens at the edge of challenge. Excuse me. Challenge yourselves, challenge each other, challenge yourself to do, like I say, one more call, one more visit, one more action, just one more every time, one more, so that we're always challenging ourselves to come out of the comfort zone and get into the discomfort. We have to be uncomfortable. So the question then is, if something's too easy, do you get bored with it? Are you motivated by something that's easy? Or are you motivated by something that's really, really difficult? Everybody's different. I get challenged by something that's out of my reach. That's when I get challenged. I think, God, I got to get there. Why? It's just the way I feel. Other people say, no, well, I've got to where the destination is, and that's fine. That's all I want to get to. It's up to you to decide what you want. How far do you want to go? How fast do you want to go? How big do you want to become? How much do you want to grow? You know, if it's too easy, it's boring. If it's too hard, it's discouraging. What is it for you? Boredom creates creativity, or does difficulty create activity? Excuse me, boredom creates activity, or does difficulty create activity? So, you know, the people that are the big leaders in the world, of whatever they're doing, it doesn't have to be about money, it could just be whatever they want to achieve. They are constantly stretching themselves. And the stretching themselves is by first of all never quitting, obviously, but also going some more discomfort. Because at the end of that discomfort comes a real feeling of almost euphoria. It's a feeling of satisfaction. Wow, I managed to do that as well. Jeez, I've done 10 things today. I'd set out to do, you know, either 5 or 15, but I managed 10. How did I do them? Did I do well? Did I do not do well? Am I happy with what I did? Could I have done more? Should I have done more? These are questions that we've got to keep asking ourselves because we've got to keep moving. We've got to keep on going. So our identity is built through repetition of what we do. That's who we become. Every repeated action reinforces our identity. But if we don't take stock, we might have an identity that we don't really want, because if our action is not conducive to moving forward, then our identity will be that we're not one of those go-getters. We're satisfied in our own comfort zone. So habits are evidence of who we believe we are. That's where we should strive for. Who do you want to become? How do you want to become that person? So, and there it goes for everything. It goes for our health, whether we work out every day. Every day people go to the gym, and at the end of the week or the month or the session or the whenever it is that they're going to do, they look in the mirror and they say, wow, geez, I'm improving. This is getting good. I'm enjoying it at the end, because at the beginning it's not so enjoyable. So the leadership identity matters. Are we acting like leaders before results appear? This is a big one too. In your mind, we have to be successful. Whether we are or not at that moment doesn't matter. What is important is in our mind. So in our mind, we get up in the morning, give yourself a high five, look in the mirror, smile, have gratitude. Yeah, I'm fantastic. And you set off the day that way because it's who you are by reinforcing your daily actions. And if you start off with positivity, with gratitude, with enthusiasm, that's one of the biggest things we can do. So we've got to remember that our success is not a direction, it's a destination. That's basically what we're looking at. Success at a destination. It's not just a direction. And everything we do every day has compound effect of going towards that success, towards what we want to become, towards what we aspire to become, a little bit at a time, to keep on chipping away at this success that we are and that we will become. So, does anybody have any comments that you'd like to make with that? I've made quite a few things out there. I've stuck quite a few things out there for you to
You
think
threw
about.
out an enormous amount, and I've read the Atomic Habits, and now you've encouraged me to go back and revisit that book. But the analogy I absolutely love is the octopus. It's so easy to visualize the movement of those tentacles, and and then just all of a sudden, whoosh, forward movement, and it's an unexpected thing. So maybe if it's lean in, do the work, don't have expectations, just do the work, and all of a sudden, whoosh, it'll happen. Not all of a sudden, but it'll happen.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah. We think about it, and what we're doing is we're putting our tentacles all the time, and we're calling and we're making, we're having conversations, and nothing's happening. And then suddenly one starts and another, and then suddenly we're all going forward. It's all going forward. And it becomes like an adrenaline fix when you have spoken to someone for 2 months and nothing's happened. And then suddenly that person comes forward and says, I'm ready. Whoa, now you start the first little tentacles moving, and then it all goes. Then you start the others and you get enthusiastic. We've got to be able to have the mindset of understanding that when we are apparently stagnant, we're not. If we are following a system that we've set for ourselves of not quitting, of getting in there and keep going, because at some time it will happen. It may take longer, it may take less, longer or shorter time, but it will happen.
I also like the way you distinguish between actionable movement and just busyness. I'm truly a victim of this, and I think it takes a real consciousness to make sure that what we're doing are actionable movements. And one way to perhaps be accountable to it is to realize when it's uncomfortable, because if it's uncomfortable, then that's when you're moving in the right direction.
We get full of knowledge. We read and we get on these calls, and we're full of useful information. But it's just information until it becomes useful action. That's the big difference. The action, putting it into effect, because otherwise it's all just theory. We become what I call idiot savants, brilliant idiots. We got all this information. What the hell are we going to do with it? Do something with it. Put it into action. And even if you screw up, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's our ego that makes us feel we've got to be perfect. We've got to say it right, do it right. I can't get out there until I've got it right. BS. Go out there, make a mistake, make a few, make a lot. That's the best way to learn. Make a lot of mistakes. Who cares? Who cares? You learn from that. Get up. What did I learn? How could I have done it better? How could I have answered that question better?
Yes, I love that, Lawrence. And then there's a saying, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
100%. I totally agree with that as well. You can talk to someone till the cows come home and they're not going to listen. You might even just casually mention something to someone and they're going to love it. Everybody's out there at a different speed, at a different velocity of in their lives or where their situation is. Absolutely, Robert.
But you have to keep turning over a lot of stones to find the right person that you can say anything to and it'll hit right.
Well, here's the thing. I had a call this week with about, I think, 7 or 8 people, young, all young. They were in their 20s. It started with one person who was in his 20s as an engineer, and it resonated with him. He's an engineer, and I talked to him about, what our business is all about. It's about preventive, it's about health, it's about monitoring health, it's about helping people make educated lifestyle choices, and it's about eventually having residual income, postbox money. It resonated. He called his dad. His dad thought it was a great idea. So he called some of his classmates, all engineers at university. Actually, one was a lawyer, but the others were engineers. And I talked to them, exactly the same as the first guy. Same exact conversation, the same conversation. The first guy was reinforced even more, and his dad was. Out of the 7 or 6, 7 or others that were there, most of them looked at me like a deer in a headlight. And they're all in the same class. They're all in the same age. One of them had resonated. He got reinforced by his dad. He said, wow, yes. And one other was also enthusiastic. The rest didn't resonate. So you're right. It's about the right time with the right people, yes. But we've got to keep out there finding the right people at the right time and never wavering in our own enthusiasm, in our own belief, in our own absolute conviction of what we're doing. Cannot fail unless you quit.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Lawrence. I'm not quitting, but I feel like I'm in Ireland because I am building rock walls left and right, and I haven't found anybody yet. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen because I know it will one day, but it's I feel more defeated than when I first started.
Okay. So here's where you have to have a friend in the business.
Mm.
So the other thing is this. You could talk to someone, your daughter, your son, your relative, and it goes in here and out there. Get somebody else to do three-way with you. They will say the same as you're saying, but hearing it from somebody else, oh my God, you know what? Susan, you didn't tell me this. Yes, I did. I told you for 3 months. So do three-way calls. This is what it's about. Find a friend in the business, somebody you respect, somebody that you respect and who knows, who can tell the same story as you are giving.
Well, I have done 3 ways, and it's just like I had one girl even buy the 750 package, and it's crickets, and like no contact, no nothing from her. I've reached out to her a couple of times, and it's just nothing.
Okay. Don't get discouraged about that because you don't know that person's circumstance. She may be going through a divorce, or she may have a problem, or she may, excuse me, she may have some issue that is impeding her from focusing. She may resurface in 3 months, and that's where the octopus moves. But I'm saying don't be discouraged by what the other person's reaction is.
Or what they're going through. You don't know what they're going through. But, the other thing on that, Susan, is that uh, you, like myself and others, have spent years working with a device that costs thousands of dollars with monthly fees. And so you have one person that invested a certain amount of money and they've gone crickets. But the fact of the matter is there's 100 people right next to them that are buying nutritional supplements, have no idea if they're working, and would love for someone to give them an idea of how for just $299 they can start managing their health. And so it may involve a little bit of a paradigm shift in terms of evaluating what you're doing, who you're going after, and maybe we need to run more after the consumers, and get some small wins.
Jim, that's 100%. I'm gonna give everybody an experience, and I hope it's a good tip. Most of the people I've spoken to about their smart wearables refer to the Aura Ring related to their sleep. Okay. So I thought about that for a long time, and I thought, okay, if the Aura Ring is such a big deal about sleep, because that's the first thing they talk about, I thought, okay, how important is sleep? Well, we all know that your immune system is strengthened by good sleep. The next thing is I started talking to different specialties of doctors. In fact, yesterday I drove several hours to go and see a doctor that has been in the business for 18 years, never really done much, but he's got a couple of other doctors there. And I went to see them. And I said, look, I have a question. By the way, I mentioned the Aura Ring, and the first thing the one doctor said, yeah, I got this Aura Ring. I said, great. What does it do for you? How smart has it made you? Well, it's just telling me about my sleep. I said, it's telling you didn't sleep. I don't need a damn Aura Ring to tell me that. I can get a headache and tell you I didn't sleep. What we have is something that is telling you why you didn't sleep, how you can improve your sleep, with what products. It's that Aura Ring on steroids. Furthermore, I asked the doctors yesterday in the room, I said, docs, every specialty of medicine has patients. And if you ask your patients, how do they sleep? Most of them will say, I did not sleep well. So I spoke to an optometrist and I said, why do people not sleep well? And he said the blue light and the computers and the iPhones and iPads and the blue light. And then we go to bed late. And then we watch news, or not news, but opinions. And then we don't sleep. And then our immune system is impaired. And then we score low. You don't score well if you haven't had an adequate sleep. So I thought about this and I said, okay, I'm going to focus on sleep. I'm going to focus on this little thing. This and Life Pack. That's my go-to. Why? Because if we talk about antioxidants, most people clueless. It doesn't resonate. It's not a warm and fuzzy feeling. We've got to be able to reach people where they are. But where they are is how they feel. I didn't sleep. Oh, I'm concerned about you not sleeping. You know what? I think I can help you. Really? Really? And I can help you score. Look, you scored 280. Probably one of the reasons may be because you're not sleeping. Well, that's true. I only sleep 5 hours a night and I wake up and at 3 in the morning and okay, so let's do something about your sleep. And at the same time, we'll guarantee to raise your level of antioxidants, which also helps your immune system. So Life Pack and sleep. I don't want to make $1 million on my first sale. I want to make $1 million during my lifetime with that group of doctors. And it could be every single doctor can talk about about sleep. Whether he's an orthopedic surgeon or an optometrist or a gastroenterologist, I don't care. Everybody is is everybody sleeps and everybody has a sleep story. And most of the people do not sleep well for stress, for blue light, for the iPhones, for the electricity, for whatever the reason. That's something we can approach for it with everybody.
Lawrence, functional medicine is focused on the root cause. And when we look at essentially the 5 variables that we focus on in terms of lifestyle, I've always thought of the one variable called sleep as being more symptomatic than causal. It's not the root cause. Your sleep issues are many times the result of those other 4 issues. And so I loved what you just said about using the nighttime, in concert with the life pack. It's like, let's take a step back to root cause. What's truly causing this sleep problem? Because sleep is a symptom.
That's exactly my point. And when we talk to people, we've got to make them feel that we are listening. And that's why we ask questions. And I think one of the easiest way to get to somebody is, are you sleeping well? How do you sleep? Have you thought about why you're not sleeping so well? What time do you go to bed at night? What do you watch? Are you scrolling on your computer until all hours of the night? And guess what? We may be able to do something about that.
Hey, Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Robin, and I love learning from all of you. I really do. This is so valuable. If I may add a little tip for Susan, because I love Susan, she's amazing. You've got to create success in your mind first. So, so what you're telling yourself, everybody is ghosting me. I can't get any customers. I just can't find anybody. That has got to stop. And you've got to start speaking, wow, and thinking and imagining, wow, I'm a solid ruby. I have 3 incredible lines. One is at 5,000. You've just got to picture it, and you've got to picture people, as you're doing the action, doing the calls, you've got to picture people replying back to you and saying, wow, this sounds phenomenal. I'd like another call. I'm ready to sign up. And I want to get the 750 package. You've got to start imagining all of that. And then throughout the day, when I send emails or send messages, I always send them with love. So I'm saying in my mind, I'm sending this with lots of love. And I know the right people will respond to me. And I'm going to attract big leaders. We really create our own reality. And so that's my humble opinion. That's what I'm working on. So that's what I would suggest, because I know Susan is going to go really far in this business. But we've got to create success in our mind first, and then it happens.
100%, Robin. We always used to talk, and still people talk about their dream board. They talk about visualizing their dream board, and they start putting what is it that you want? Oh, I want this red Ferrari, or I want a trip with my family to Australia, whatever it is. The dream board is a visualization of what you want. And you're absolutely right. Visualize who you want to become. Susan, visualize who you want to become. And start the day with feeding your mind. This is what mindset is all about. Give yourself a high five in the morning. Feel good. Feel gratitude. Yes, I'm going to go out and slay it because I am the queen. With that attitude, you already start the morning feeling good. And when you talk to someone, it's not going to be, hi, how are you? Listen, I'm calling because I just wanted to know, blah, blah. You're going to be enthusiastic because you're visualizing what Robin says even. You're visualizing, you're imparting empathy and love, and you want the success of the person you're talking to. That's the difference. It's not about you, it's about the person you are talking to. You're helping them with their success. Whether it's their success in time or money or stress or self-esteem or whatever it is. But you're doing something for the person you're talking to.
Hey, Lawrence. Yeah, can I personally thank Susan for doing exactly what you were talking about in the first part of this call. She literally came out of her comfort zone to be transparent with a number of people on this call. And had she not done that, had that not happened, everyone on this call would not have benefited from what Robin just said. It's a growth call, and that transparency is so important. So, Susan, thank you so much for coming out of your comfort zone on that.
100%. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Robin. And thank you, Jim. Because this is what it's about. These mindset calls are not monologues. The idea is to be able to get input from everybody as well. That's why I quit at 15 minutes and I say, okay, I've put something out there. Let's hear what your comments are. And it's collective. Everybody's different at a different speed, at a different moment in their lives. And this is what makes it interesting. And this is what makes it constructive.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely not. Go ahead.
Okay, so we had a mental scientist on our team helping us for a certain amount of time. Whoops. So he taught us when something happens that you don't want to happen. Like I've had great calls this week. I had one call that was awful. A couple calls that were awful. So I said to myself, because I was taught by this gentleman, this is what I don't want. I don't want a call like this. And this is what I do want. So I spoke out loud what I do want. But we do, he taught us to recognize, wow, this happened. This is what I don't want. But now I'm going to speak into existence what I do want, because it affects us emotionally. I was like kind of mad after that call. Anyway, I just wanted to share that.
That's great. Thank you. That's perfect. You've got to identify what you don't want and what you do want. Anybody else?
Well, also just piggybacking off of that, and Robin's, that's been a huge help to me, and I need to do this more. If you think about like the string of people who are saying no or whatever, or ghosting, you're going to keep attracting those people because the universe it's like an energy vibration. If you put those words out there and put it out there and those feelings, you're just going to keep attracting those people. So don't think about who you want to attract. Just visualize the kind of person you want to attract and just stop thinking about those negative feelings. And then you'll attract the people you want to attract.
What you focus on grows. We know that. Focus on everything positive. If you see a patch of weeds, you'll find one place in there that's got a little flower. Focus on the flower, not on the weeds. All right. Anybody else? Guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for being on the call. I'm always grateful to your being on the call and your feedback. Everybody, Jim and Robin and Carrie and Susan, everybody, thank you for being on the call. Hey, Michael.
Great call today. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
everybody
yesterday
for
also.
opening up.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Book your tickets for Utah. August 27, 28, 29 to the fly-in. Okay, guys. God bless. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Lawrence. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.